Good afternoon and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. The US has bought nearly all the available stock of coronavirus drug Remdesivir. Now, Remdesivir is one of the two drugs that have been proven to be effective against the deadly COVID-19 virus. The US has bought the entire stock of the antiviral drug for the next 3 months. The US has taken an America First attitude throughout the global pandemic. However, this has brought some serious concerns for many countries, especially in Europe. Now, many fear that this will bring a global crunch in supplies of the antiviral drug. America's acquisition of Remdesivir stock means that there is no supply left for European nations who are also battling the virus. The UK, Europe and even Canada have expressed their fears that this might bring negative consequences for countries who are also in need of the antiviral drug. Joining us live from Berlin, our DW correspondent Chabanda is joining us for more on this story. Good afternoon to you. Firstly, let's start with what we know about this drug Remdesivir.
Well, what we do know is that the drug, the treatment, the course of Remdesivir dramatically reduces the number of days that COVID patients need to be treated. The estimations are around 4 days. And obviously that significantly reduces the amount that is needed to treat every patient. And that's something that, of course, a lot of countries would like to see because, of course, a lot goes into treating COVID-19 patients, sometimes who obviously need a ventilation or help breathing. And that, of course, is something that they would welcome. The other thing that we know is the cost of the drug. It's supposed to be retailing for around $3,000 for a course in the United States, a treatment course. And in other countries, in developing countries, Gilead, which is the maker of the drug, has said generic form could be produced for around $600. In India, there is a form that would be available in a generic form for $65 or so, according to estimates. So that's what we know so far about this drug, Remdesivir from Gilead, which is the US-based maker of the drug.
Right. And Chabanda, are there any reports or any information that we have now on how European countries are trying to ensure that they can get either the original Remdesivir or, as you were saying, the other kinds of drugs that are produced by different countries, how they can ensure their supply?
Well, what we do know is that probably in Europe it will end up being the form of the drug because obviously European countries are developing countries. The drug itself, Remdesivir, is not yet approved in Europe. The approval of the drug is expected today. It was announced earlier this week that it would get approval this week, so hopefully that happens today. In terms of what the health authorities are saying, the UK authorities and the German authorities say they have enough doses of the drug for now. They haven't been very clear in terms of how much that is. Obviously, we know that the number of COVID cases in Europe have gone down quite a bit. There's been a few hotspots in recent days, but overall they've gone down, unlike in the United States. So obviously it's something that depends also on the number of COVID patients that we have. But in terms of the European authorities, across Europe, the health commissioner has also said that they're trying to get more doses or secure more doses of Remdesivir. So hopefully, depending on when the approval of the drug goes through, we'll hear more about whether they've been able to speak with Gilead and figure out how that might look.
Right, and how could this America First attitude unfold going forward, especially in terms of this being a global fight against the pandemic?
Well, obviously, it seems like the U.S. wants to go out and get a solution alone on its own. Of course, even the Canadian president condemned, Trump's actions regarding Remdesivir. So it will be interesting to see what happens in Europe, obviously, when the approval does go through, and to see if there's going to be some sort of discussion with American authorities or just with a drug maker to come up with another solution that actually secures enough of the dosage for, at least for European citizens. And this is exactly where we might have to wait and see, because of course the authorities haven't been extremely forthcoming always in terms of how much they have in terms of the drug and how they would go about making sure that there's enough to go around if there's a second wave of COVID-19.
Thank you very much for that report. That's our DW correspondent, Chabanda, joining us live from Berlin for the latest on this Remdesivir drug.